Natural when we're in one state of being and we're literally changing our subconscious programming and changing the whole entire being that we known to evolve into something better. It's going to feel foreign. This is the idea that I want to share with you today. Wise Tribe, what's the vibes? A wooga wooga Wise Tribe, what's the vibes? Wise Tribe, what's the vibes? Happy Wise Wednesday! If you're new here, what's up? Thank you for being here. I am Shariya Wise. I'm a being who creates to inspire high frequency living. So as I actively create my heaven on earth, I share what I can and we evolve and get better together. Yes, ma'am? So clearly we are talking about what we're talking about. So if you want to know more about me, definitely just stick to the end of this video. But in the meantime, have you ever had a moment where you're doing your affirmations or you're doing your mindfulness practices and you kind of just feel like you're lying to yourself and it just feels like so foreign to you and it's just like, does this even work? Like, is this even worth doing? Like, because it don't feel like it, right? Have you ever had that moment? I've definitely had those moments on my journey, right? And I was talking to a friend, basically encouraging him to really get up on his mindfulness practices, start doing them affirmations. And he shared that he actually does do affirmations, but sometimes he literally just stops because he feels like he's lying to himself, right? And bro, I get it. So what are we gonna do? How can we combat that, right? Because it's natural when we're in one state of being and we're literally changing our subconscious programming and changing the whole entire being that we known to evolve into something better. It's going to feel foreign, right? So this is the idea that I want to share with you today on how we're going to deal with the feelings of when we kind of just feel like the things we're doing are so out of reach and out of alignment, such as affirmations, right? I call it discerned delusions. Remembering that everything is energy, right? How we feel is energy, and when we speak, energy moves for us because energy loves demands, and energy also responds to our energy. And a lot of times our energy is derived off of how we are feeling, right? So it's so important that we can do things such as mindfulness or affirmations or just things to help us feel in alignment with the energies of the best version of ourselves, our perception of the best version of ourselves, right? And so honestly, it's really just about going back to acting class, using your imagination, going back to acting class, okay? Going back to our imagination, playing pretend, really fun, joyous lightheartedness, and acting like the person that we see ourselves being. Working towards it, of course, but in the moments of working towards it, finding out or figuring out in our minds, how are the mannerisms of the being that I am creating myself to be? What are their actions? How do they respond to things, right? How do they carry themselves? How can I embody and adopt these traits into my present state of being? Affirmations, especially if you're new to affirmations and different mindfulness practices, it could feel foreign, like you're lying to yourself. And the thing is, we have to go back to that childhood stage, just believing that, anything can happen. I believe in Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny, and going back to that energy though. And instead of it being like Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny, it's the version of yourself that you are actively working to be, right? To create for yourself. The person who already shifted their subconscious beliefs and programmings, right? And so it's literally just believing that, firstly, knowing that when we speak, energy moves for us. When we feel, energy responds to how we are feeling, right? And so even in moments when you may feel like, I feel like I'm lying to cancel. I don't even want to say it in that way. Let me say it discerningly. In a moment where you may feel as if you're lying to yourself when you're saying your affirmations or doing your mindfulness practices, it's literally just dismissing the idea and the thought that may come up. I actually just released a video on how to stop negative thoughts, so I'll put that down in the description. But it's really just about dismissing that thought. You literally have to ignore that shit, push it, kick it to the side, and literally just keep focused on the imaginative, the childlike belief in whatever it is you're calling in. You know what I'm saying? Whatever intention you're setting, whatever it is you're manifesting, having literal like discerning delusional belief that it will come and it will happen to you or happen for you one way or another, right? And so as you actively do your mindfulness practices and your affirmations, knowing that when you do those things, energy is moving for you to give you evidence of what you're saying and doing to be true. So when you're doing your mindfulness practices, right, and you may have a intrusive thought that comes in mind, you don't have to identify with the thought. If it's not your thought, then it's not your thought. If you don't want to identify with it, you don't have to identify with it, right? But when you're doing your mindfulness practices and your affirmations and you do get a thought that's like, this ain't real, this ain't true, this ain't coming for you, literally ignore that shit. Right? It's not yours. Let it just go back into the collective consciousness. I have a whole video on how to stop negative thoughts down in the description. So if that's feeling like it's in alignment after this video, I highly recommend you go check that video out. When you speak, when you do these things, energy is moving for you to give you evidence of what you're saying and doing to be true. So keep that conscious knowing in your head, especially when you have a moment when you're actively doing your affirmations and you feel like you're lying to yourself. This is where the discern delusion comes in. Literally just pushing those fears to the side, because that's what it is. That's what it's emanating from, right? Fear. Pushing all of that to the side, kicking it to the side, and really being steadfast in your belief, which eventually with you continuously believing, that belief will turn into a knowing. With you doing your affirmations and your mindfulness practices, knowing that when you're doing this stuff, it is inevitably on its way to you. Right? And so you keep doing it. So a beautiful way that I like to practice discern delusion is to literally romanticize every motherfucking thing in my life, to the small mundane things. You know what I'm saying? Taking out the trash. I'm about to romanticize that. And how I move is like consciously I'll act. And I seen this idea like months, maybe even a year ago on TikTok. I seen this idea of acting like you have a expensive $1 million camera crew following you everywhere you go, documenting your life so that you can inspire others. Or it don't even gotta be that. For me, I like to add that documenting my life to inspire others, because it makes me just lead by example. But it's crazy that I'm just leading by example for myself, acting as if, seeing the traits and the mannerisms and how the best version of myself would respond to certain things, seeing what of that I can adopt in my current present state of being, and acting. Let me give you a really good example of how I do this, right? Me, I'm an entrepreneur. I have multiple streams. I'm a digital nomad. So a lot of times when I'm working, I will just go outside and work, right? There's endless amounts of places where I can go and get some of my admin work done, right? What I choose to do is go into the richest parts of New York City in expensive ass hotels, go into the lobby area, get myself a little Starbucks, a little coffee, sit down, back straight, chin up, chest out, do my work, nice and cute. You know what I'm saying? How I perceive the best version of myself to carry herself. And I'm putting myself in environments where the best version of myself inevitably is, right? It helps me embody that state of being. And so am I acting? Maybe I'm not. Maybe I am. Regardless, the best way I can, I am feeling like my perception of the best version of myself. All about feeling. You really just want to do what you can to feel. Another thing that helps me with my discerned delusion, really acting and embodying and adopting traits of the best version of myself and being it now in this moment. Another thing that helps me do that is actively going on YouTube and finding vloggers, right? And there are so many different types of vloggers. There is a vlogger who has a vibe that you will like. There are thousands of vloggers, right? And these vloggers, a lot of times, they romanticize the small aspects of life. Like when you look at those videos, they're doing basic things, but the way they carry themselves while doing it, and then the way they, of course, display it in video, they romanticize it, right? And so what that does for me, watching that and also making sure that I'm watching it with the lens of inspiration and not comparison, but what that does for me, it really just allows me to let my imagination take me to great places. It allows me to really just visualize the possibilities. And also just seeing like a person on YouTube, a random person that I resonate with, but the video is resonating with you and is giving you that feeling. That feeling is going to emanate into the universe, and so now all the energy around you is going to respond to the feeling that you're feeling, right? Because everything is energy, so you want to be able to feel, right? And so what is something that you can do for yourself literally right now? Because I know for a fact, even if it's just a small little mindset switch, right? What is something that you can do for yourself in this very moment to allow you to feel as if you are your perception of the best version of yourself? What is it? So it could be something as small as fixing your posture. You could be in a social situation and consciously embodying, acting like your perception of the best version of yourself. How would the best version of myself respond to this? Not react, respond. How would they respond, right? How would they be sitting right now? What would be the next action they take to help them have a successful day? In that action, what in that can I embody and adopt now? So I encourage you today to be delusional, discerningly, have fun, and act. Literally act. Because the more you act, it will literally just become you, right? Your subconscious will take a hint and it will become you, right? So be your perception of the best version of yourself. So when you're doing your affirmations and you're doing your mindfulness practices and you get that moment where it's just like, dismiss it. And consciously remember that you are discerningly delusional. Make a list of all the non-tangible traits that your perception of the best version of you has. Make a list and go as deep as you can. Make that list as long as possible. Really get all them adjectives in there, right? Start to embody those different traits, right? And the reason that I say non-tangible is because before you even get to a space where you are having different, 3D experiences and you're being able to touch and hold certain things, have certain of those physical manifestations, you still first have to feel and embody, right? So first, just just focusing on the feeling part will inevitably bring the tangible in. That's why I say non-tangible. And that list, go down that list and start being all of those adjectives, because truthfully, you are already that person. You're on the journey of evolution to getting there regardless, meaning that you're that person. You have that energy within you. Nothing is outside of you, right? You have everything you need within you. So when you're doing your mindfulness practices and you're doing your affirmations, stay consistent with it. Regardless of if you're feeling a way in a moment or not, stay consistent, stay steadfast, okay? Because you consciously know that energy moves for us. And also too, remember, feeling is important, right? So that's why embodying, adopting, acting like, being discerningly delusional enough to be and take on those adjectives that we said that we're gonna list, it's important because, like I said, I'm just gonna say one more time, the feelings that we have emanate into the universe, and then the energies in the universe respond to the feelings that we have so that it can find ways to give us more of that feeling, right? That's why, literally, romanticize everything. You have $1 million camera crew following you at all times. Yes, ma'am, because you're expensive. Yes, act like it. Expensive, luxury is all within. The luxury comes from within. The luxury is the person. The expensiveness is the person, right? The value is the person, not the tangible. So we're really just going to do our best to embody that non-tangible, high vibrational feelings, high frequency feelings. Ooh, I like that, high frequency feelings, okay? Yes, ma'am? Another thing with this discern delusion, right? It is acknowledging, first off, that many times before we begin our healing journeys and before we evolve, we are fearful of an unseen future, right? So being afraid of the unseen. So if we, in that former unhealed state of being, can be delusional enough to allow fear to stop us, fear, which is the unseen, the unknown, to stop us, we can also, in our healing and more evolved state of being, be delusional enough to believe in the unseen and have that belief so steadfast that that belief becomes a knowing. Yes, ma'am? So you guys, that is the idea that I wanted to express today, discern delusion. I'm sure I'll have more videos talking about it sometime in the future as I actively just, be. Because for me to make these videos, I actually have to be and live and experience, So I already know there's going to be more in detail videos of discern delusion coming very soon. But regardless, I hope that something that I said was impactful for you guys, okay? I'm so grateful that you was here too. If you made it to the end of this video, put a moon emoji in the comments just so I can see how many people are making it to the end of these videos, you guys. Y'all, so I'm actually filming a vlog this week that will most likely be out early next week, and y'all are going to actively see me do what I said in this video. So if that's feeling like it's in alignment, definitely subscribe, hit those post notifications so you can know when the video drops. I want y'all to experience that with me because truthfully, this is all just an acting class. We're remembering that this game of life is powered by the computer of our brains. So reprogramming is a thing. We do have to reprogram our mindful computer. Yes, ma'am? As I actively do what I say that I do in these videos and just like be and act as, embody, adopt the traits and qualities of my perception of the best version of myself, I promise it don't even feel like I'm acting anymore. This is me. With me saying that I'm no longer acting, I'm being, this is me. But at the same time of me being, I'm still actively doing things that the more enhanced, more evolved my perception of the best version of myself does, right? So yes, I'm living in it now and I am like a present manifestation of a past intention, right? At the same time, me knowing that I'm still actively enhancing the things that I do. So as these things become my state of being, now I'm acknowledging the traits that I can now work to adopt. Once a trait that you are acting as, or like a state of being that you are embodying literally becomes you, you can only just get better. And so there's gonna be another trait that you want to embody, right? And so the cycle just keeps on going. And so it's so important when you're not feeling your best, or when you're doing your affirmations but you really don't have that energy, it's okay. Keep doing it. Literally keep doing it. That's where the self-love discipline comes in. Doing what you don't really feel like doing, but consciously it's better for a future version of you. That's that self-love, So encourage yourself. We're gonna have to encourage ourselves on this journey, and of course we have the Wise Tribe community, so you can come here. I'm actively working on creating a Discord, so if it's not out by the time this video is out, definitely just keep checking my video descriptions. I'll definitely have the link to this Discord once I create it in future videos, if not this one, right, you guys? Regardless of that, I love y'all so motherfucking much, and I'm just so excited for everybody. I'm excited for spring. What's today's date? It is March 27th, you guys. So we are about a week into spring, and it's just new beginnings, fresh starts. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just grateful to be here with y'all. So you guys, thank you so much for your time. Before you go though, subscribe. If you like the vibe, subscribe. If you like the vibe, subscribe. If you like the vibe, subscribe. Yes, ma'am. Before I let you guys go, if you want a way to easily and more effortlessly, naturally embody the energies and vibrations of your perception of the best version of yourself, I created a meditation just for you, for us. It's the Sis You a Bad Bitch music meditation to raise your bad bitch vibrations, you guys. At minimum, go to the website and read the reviews, because it is helping so many divine feminine energies really be that attractive, alluring, nurturing perception of whatever they want for themselves as that divine feminine energy. They are being that, right? So attractive, and at the same time harnessing that divine masculine energy within us to really help support our softness in our divine feminine. You know what I'm saying? The divine masculine supports the divine feminine, and we have both of those energies within us, right? So when we intentionally do the meditation, it allows us to just naturally become so in flow, right? And so in alignment with our perception of the best version of ourselves, and it allows us to take the actions to get us there, right? And the more you do the meditation, the more impactful it gets, you guys. So if it's feeling like it's in alignment, head to the link in my description, go read those reviews, and get your copy of the Sis You a Bad Bitch music meditation to raise your bad bitch vibrations. Yes, ma'am? All right, you guys, I'm gonna leave y'all to it. Head to my description. I have a few videos there that could be helpful. And until my next video, I love you, I love you, I love you. And I'm gonna see you soon. Mwah!